Example: a type of endangered frog species is identified as endangered, and their habitat becomes protected. So we have a table here with the years and the frog population. A. Sketch the data on a scatterplot. Okay, so to make a scatterplot, we need to remember to put a title. So what does this have to do with? It has to do with the independent variable's time, and the dependent variable is population. So it's population versus time. So the title could be Frog Population versus time. And we should label our axes. So down here we have time, in years, and population. You could also put number of frogs, that would be fine. Okay, let's start adding the data. Well, before we do that, we need a scale. So the year goes from 2000 to 2016. We have 16 spots here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, there are 16 spots. So let's make a break and start numbering at 2000. 2000, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2000, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2008, 2012, 2016. Now the frog population is going to go up to, about 125. How many spots do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 14 spots. Okay, let's go up by tens. I'm skipping every other 10. I'm going 20, 40, 60, 80. I don't think I have enough space to write everything clearly, so this will look better. 120, 140. Okay. So in the year 2000, the population is 50. In the year 2004, the population is 38, so it's dipped. It says in the question that the population becomes protected, but maybe it takes a little while. Oops, I put that in the wrong spot. That's okay, you can just erase it and fix it. Okay, 2008, the population is about 80. 2012, 113. 2016, 127. Okay. Draw a line or curve of best fit through the data. Is it solid or dashed? Okay, so should this be a line? Is it linear? It looks like it has a curve to it. So let's do a curve of best fit. It's not going to be such a smooth curve because of the first piece of data, but after that it becomes more smooth. And should it be dashed or solid? Well, time-wise, the time's pretty linear. We can include all the decimal points in between every year because you can have months and days and seconds, but the population would have to be whole numbers. We aren't going to count 2.5 frogs. We're going to count 2 frogs, 3 frogs, 10 frogs, 100 frogs. So we need to do a dashed line because the population would only allow whole numbers. So along here, there's a nice curve of best fit. But then there's a point here that doesn't really match up well. So you could choose what you want to do at that point. You could maybe just ignore it and continue your graph, your curve, and in that case you'd be considering this an outlier. An outlier is a point that doesn't match the rest of the data and you're not going to include it. Maybe we're more interested in what has happened to the frog population since it started to improve. So maybe that's not as important. Or maybe you would not consider the 38 population to be a good point. Maybe in that case, maybe you think that you made a mistake with your data. Whoever retrieved the data, whoever was counting frogs, didn't do a very good count. Maybe that one wouldn't be considered. Or maybe you can go right through the middle. You sort of have to make a decision at this point. But at least we see for the last few data points a little bit more of a smooth curve, and we can continue it along. It looks like the frog population will continue to increase, but not at as big of a rate. So it's slowly increasing. Describe the trend in the population. Remember, we can use the term trend because it's over time. If it wasn't over time, if it was over something else, we would just say pattern. So the trend, we were just talking about that. The population appears to be increasing. So the trend in the population is increasing. Predict the population in 2020. So this graph goes to 2016. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite big enough. If we were on graph paper, we'd have the next spot, and that would be helpful. But we're not, so let's just estimate. Okay, that looks like it's about halfway between. So it looks like it's about 135. So the population in 2020, you should give a sentence answer to this, 135 frogs. Okay. So a full sentence answer would look like, the population in 2020 is predicted to be 135 frogs.